What is up, you guys? Welcome back to the show. In today's episode, I want to talk to you about the 3 things that make up a $1 million entrepreneur. Let's dive in. What is up, guys? Welcome back to the show. For those of you that are watching for the first time, I hope this is valuable information for you. And so let's dive straight into it. I'm going to give you the 3 things that make up a $1 million entrepreneur. And so the very first thing is your beliefs. So I know this is an episode that is not as practical, not as tactical, but this is really, these 3 things I'm going to give you. If you have 2 of them and not the third, you won't ever break any barriers in your own mind or where you think you're trying to go. So we've got beliefs, character traits, and skills. And so I want to spend some time on each of these and talk about why they're so important. So number 1, beliefs. I want to just ask you, what do you believe is possible for you and your business? And so just my own story of kind of breaking down limiting beliefs. When I first started my business, it was if I could just make a couple $1,000s a month, right? If I could just make $1,000 to $1,500 each month to stack a little bit of cash or pay off some bills or whatever, right? Well, then, if you've listened to me at all up to this point, I had that Black Friday sale back in 2018 or 2019 where I made almost $20,000 in 4 days. That just blew my mind, right? Because before that, I was always an employee and I was always trading time for money. So the idea that you could make 20 grand in 4 days, there's no way that you could make enough money per hour to make 20 grand in 4 days, right? So we're playing by a different set of rules. And that really broke a lot of limiting beliefs in me about what was possible, what was achievable. And so when you enter into entrepreneur land, if you do it the right way, you're no longer looking at how much I'm making per hour, because you're always going to be trading time for money, right? But if we believe that it's possible to scale, to grow, to bring on employees and start leveraging, but if we can start believing and thinking differently, we start to shift our belief system. We start to shift what we believe is possible. We start to dream bigger. We start to imagine bigger. We start to what used to be unfathomable in the world of what's possible is now extremely possible. And so this is really a wild thing. I mean, like for me, for example, I'm recording this at September 30th of 2022. It's the last day of September. This month, we'll break over $100,000 in sales for my custom furniture business. Something I would have never, ever thought was possible back when I started. That was never the goal. When I started, I couldn't even think that big. So I just want to encourage you to start pushing yourself and pushing what you think is possible, okay? Pushing what you think is realistic. The last thing about beliefs is kind of, what do you think you're capable of? Do you believe in yourself? Do you believe in what you're trying to do? And do you believe that you can actually get there? And so one of the things that has kind of been a marker of my success is, while everybody else is saying, well, there's no way we can do that. We don't know how to do that. We don't know how to get there. We don't know how to do that. I'm saying, yeah, I don't know how to get there, but I'll figure it out. That's the difference. The difference is just this belief in myself, and I hope that you have the same belief in yourself, but this belief in myself that, hey, listen, I don't know all the answers, and I'll be the first to admit that. Like, I don't know all the answers for lots of stuff, but I am willing to figure it out. I'm willing to build the airplane while I'm falling off the cliff, right? And that's a really scary thing for a lot of people. It's like, I'll figure it out. I don't know right now, but you know what? I think we can figure it out. I think that we can put our heads together. We can figure this out. And then along with this, learning the skill that if you can't figure it out, how to find the people that can and bring them in on your team or in as a mentor or as a coach. Bring them in to help you get to where you want to go even faster. So number 1 is beliefs. What do you believe? What do you believe is possible? What do you believe about yourself, about what you're trying to do? Number 2 is your character traits. This is so, so important. And so most people can't ever grow a business or grow anything substantial because their personal life is such a wreck that they can't ever get any stability in their personal life to actually build something else. So coming in and out of relationships, partying and drinking and hungover and sick and run down. And like the number one thing that I would say for me has just been to be consistent. Like, I'm going to do what I know I'm supposed to do regardless of what I'm seeing, regardless of the outcome. I know what I want. I know what the outcome is that I'm pursuing, that I'm chasing after, but I'm not going to quit if I don't get there by the time that I think I should, right? Disclaimer, full disclosure, whatever you're trying to achieve, it's going to take you a long time to get there. If it's worth pursuing, you're not going to be able to snap your fingers and get there. Why? Because everybody would be doing it, right? So it's difficult, it's challenging, it's hard. So you have to have the character traits to support whatever your dreams are. So what are some really practical character traits that you're going to need? You need a strong work ethic. You know, I honestly did not have a great work ethic as a young person, as a teenager. But when I got married and I felt the responsibility of providing for my wife and for my children, my work ethic just took off into another world. And that's the one thing that I can control. There's so many circumstances that you can't control. You can't control when things go wrong, when you get bad breaks, right? When things are done to you. Sometimes there are things that are just done to you that you don't have any control over. But what I can always control is my willingness to work harder than everybody else. And so now, with that being said, this can lead to a lot of arrogance and a lot of pride and a lot of you burning down relationships because you're just going to go lock yourself in a room and just work hard and neglect the world. Sometimes you need to have bouts of that. You need to have seasons of working extremely hard. You need to have seasons of pushing yourself extremely hard. But then there's other seasons based on your relationships, based on your family, where you need to back off, man. Like, you need to go spend time with your family. You need to have wisdom around when is it time to push and when is it not time to push. You can't push 110% every single day and expect to maintain great relationships and expect to be a dad or be a husband, to be a good friend to people. And so you've got to learn that as well. So hard work, character trait number one, you've got to have hard work. Number two is discipline. If you have hard work and discipline, you'll be consistent. I believe Craig Rochelle said this. He said, successful people do often what unsuccessful people do occasionally. Successful people do the things every single day that unsuccessful people do occasionally. And why do the unsuccessful people do them only occasionally? Because they only do them when they're inspired. They only do what they're supposed to do when they feel inspired, when their emotions lead them there. We don't do things based on emotions. We do things based on hard work and discipline. I do it because it's what I do. I do it all the time. I don't even think about it. I don't think about how hard I'm working. I don't complain about how tired I am. I do what I need to do in order to hit the goals I'm trying to hit for the big why, the big reason that I'm trying to achieve it, okay? And then this is the last one. I think this is really, really important when it comes to character traits. It is being a deep thinker, thinking about what you're thinking about, strategizing for the future, planning. There's a balance between planning like you're going to live forever and then living today like you're going to die tomorrow, right? So you have to learn how to balance that. And it's not an easy thing to do. It's challenging. But you have to plan and think long-term in regards to how do I continue to get higher forms of leverage in my life? How do I continue to move into better opportunities? And so one of the stories I just want to share with you real fast, if you know anything about the investing community, if you know anything about high-level entrepreneurs, you know that Warren Buffett's one of the richest people on the planet. He's in his late 80s, I think, at this point. And he tells a story about when he graduated from college, and his very best friend was a handsome, bright young man. He was smarter than Warren Buffett was, okay? They graduated from college. Warren Buffett went on to become Warren Buffett, be a serial investor, and then his friend got into the steel industry. 30 years later, they're 50 years old. Look up, and the guy that Warren Buffett went to school with built a good career, but it wasn't an outstanding career, right? It wasn't, man, he blew the socks off of what he was doing. He was slightly above average. And Warren Buffett got into a really great industry, really picked something that he loved and was talented at and skilled at. And he said this, he said, what boat you're in matters much more than how hard you row. He's saying that the vehicle that you're in, the opportunity that you're in, matters a lot more than even how hard you're willing to work. Okay? So we want to have hard work. Whatever opportunity you're in, if you're trying to build a woodworking business, you need to work hard. I'm not saying you don't need to work hard. You need to be disciplined, but you need to pick, based on your goals, what vehicle do I need to be in, okay? So this is a character trait that you develop over time, okay? The last thing that you need, number 3, to become a $1 million entrepreneur is skills. You need skills. And so I want to just wrap this up real quick. Beliefs, character traits, and skills. If you have the skills and the character traits, but you don't believe or can't get a vision for the future, you won't continue to grow and get better, okay? If you have the skills and the beliefs, but not the character traits, then you won't demonstrate the discipline and the hard work and the ability to think on a deeper level to get where you want to go, right? And if you have the beliefs and the character traits and not the skills, then you're going to be floundering because you can't actually provide the service inside of whatever industry you're in to get where you're trying to go. So beliefs, character traits, and skills. You got to have all 3 of them. Here are the skills that you need inside of this industry. If you're watching this and you're a handmade entrepreneur, you're a woodworker, you're a custom furniture business owner, you need to be able to build the product yourself. You need to know how to do the actual task of building the product. But let me just tell you, it is not in there. You need to have a lot more skills to grow a business that's worthwhile, okay? So the second skill is you need to know how to market the product. How do I sell this product to an audience, okay? And if you don't know how to do that, then let me know. In the link below, in the description below, you can apply for for the Woodworking Business Accelerator Program. This is specifically for custom furniture owners, business owners that are trying to grow their business. This is one of the main things that we help them do is market their product, okay? Number 3 is sell. You got to learn, you have to develop skills around selling. When people talk to you about your product, you got to know how to carry a conversation and handle objections and deal with questions. Like, you have to develop that skill. So build the product, market the product, sell the product. Then once you get those down and you start to grow, you need to know how to hire people. You got to hire team members. You got to know how to systemize your business so that you can hand them a sheet that tells them what to do. You got to know how to manage those people. How do I become a great manager? And then you got to learn how to manage the books, and you got to learn how to manage cash flow. And so all these things, a lot of these, you might be listening to this, you're like, man, that is overwhelming. I don't know how to do any of that. Well, guess what? Neither did I. I didn't know how to do any of that. I wasn't born with those skills. I literally knew nothing about business until like 2017. Knew nothing. So here I am 5 years later and feel like we've made a lot of progress, but it was just through studying and learning and being truly interested and truly focused on where I'm trying to go. So beliefs, character traits, and skills. If you're watching this, you're trying to grow your custom furniture business, you're a woodworker, you're like, man, I really want to make money doing this, then I want you to fill out the Woodworking Business Accelerator Program application, watch the video on it, and then book a call with me, because I'm going to talk to you and we're going to figure out if we can help you. If we can help you scale your business, take it to where you want it to go. And if nothing else, we're going to give you practical advice and tell you what your next steps are to kind of help you inside of your business. And so with that being said, guys, I'm going to wrap this episode up. This is episode number 96. We're almost to 100. I'm super excited, super pumped about it. It's been a great journey, and hopefully you've enjoyed it along the way. If you're watching this on YouTube, go check out the Handmade Business Secrets podcast with Zach Vaught, Apple, Spotify, anywhere that you listen to podcasts. It's going to be extremely valuable to you. We did like 80 episodes there before we ever even got on YouTube. So it's going to be incredibly beneficial to you in growing your business. And so if this has helped you, subscribe, comment, let me know where you're commenting from and what your questions are. We want to start getting questions from you guys so we can start making podcast episodes around those questions specifically. So with that being said, I appreciate you. Love you guys so much. I'll see you on the next one.